Well, today's video is sponsored by Black Gold Compost Company. We want to thank the good people over at Black Gold for their generous donation of all this black cow manure that we're using in our video today. Thank you for sponsoring our channel. Well, good morning, Homestead family. Today's video is going to be on growing yams in containers. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back, friends. Nancy came in, this year, and she says, I want to grow some yams because I want to have candied yams on Thanksgiving. She says, well, have you ever grown those before? And I say, no. And come to think of it, I never really thought much about it. You know, growing up, we always had sweet potatoes, and I remember on Thanksgiving, Mama would always make candied yams, and kind of in my mind it was always, well, it's just a sweet potato. I never really paid much attention to it, and I've never really tried to grow them before. So Nancy said she wanted to try some yams and to cook with, and I said, well, let me think about that. I'm not sure if I really even know how to grow them. So I did a little research, and they don't grow any different than a regular old sweet potato, except for there are some differences. The yam and the sweet potato are definitely two different plants. The sweet potato is kind of in the member of the morning glory family, and the yams are actually a member of the lily family. They both do grow in the ground and make nice big beautiful tubers, but the yams take much longer than a sweet potato. The yams take anywhere from 5 to 11 months. So you want to try to get them in as early as you can, and give them plenty of time to grow while it's hot, because they do not like cold weather. So they prefer it to be above 80 degrees. So that causes you to have to put them in early, and pretty much limits you really to kind of the south, zone 8 through 10. I would say anywhere from Virginia, south of Virginia, I mean, these should be okay. The further south you go, the better they will do for you, because you can actually grow them longer before the cold weather sets in. Now, another thing about these is their skin is kind of tough and gnarly. It's like almost like tree bark. Compared to a sweet potato, it's nice and clean and easy to peel. That's not the case with a yam. It's got a tough skin on that tuber, so that's something else that's different. And the vines on these things, I mean, you can look and see how much they've grown. And I only started these, let's see, what's today, March the 1st? These have only been growing for 6 weeks, and as you can see, some of them are 3 feet long. And speaking of the vines, these vines are vigorous growers. So wherever you plant these, keep in mind that these things are going to run. They're going to run 8, 10, 12 feet with no problem at all, and they want to climb on anything they can get on. So you don't want to plant them next to squash or anything that you don't want this stuff to just smother out. So give them plenty of spacing. I say keep them 5 or 10 feet apart on anything you're planting near them. Keep it about 5 or 10 feet away. So that's pretty much the differences that I learned about this stuff. Just quickly doing a little research on it, and we're ready to go. These things do prefer full sun, of course, to get that heat. So I went over and I started 5 jars of these back in January, and I brought out 2 jars a day. And I don't want to grow a whole lot of these, so I'm only going to grow 2 20-gallon tubs, and we're going to grow them in containers to make it easy to harvest, and especially since I've never grown these before. So it sounds like they're kind of hard to get out the ground. So I want to make it easy, because I'm getting kind of old, 69 years old. I got to start finding ways to do things that are much easier on my back and knees. So anyway, we're going to put them in a couple of 20-gallon tubs. I've already mixed up my container mix over there. I used the same container mix that I use in all my containers. We have a video on that. If you want to check out how to make that container mix, go check out that video on our channel. Now, when I filled up these tubs, I went ahead and I put about 1/3 of the container mix in there. Then I added some fertilizer. I used some 10 fertilizer. I wanted a balanced fertilizer in here with this. I don't think that just having container soil is going to have enough nutrients in that soil to support these things. So I added a little bit of 10 just to get them going good, and some bone meal at the 1/3 full spot. Then I added some more soil on top of that, and I did it again. A little bit more 10 and a little bit more bone meal. Then I finished filling it up to the top of the tub. That way I have 2 layers of fertilizer. As these roots start running all through that pot, they're gonna be able to find fertilizer from the top to the bottom. So that's the way these go. I've got them on my little container table that has a small trellis behind it, so I can get them to, you know, let them grow and crawl all over that thing all they want. So I went ahead and pre-moistened my pots over there. I hit it with the water and let that soak on down through there. It's been about 15 minutes, so they're ready to plant. So right now what we need to do is remove these beautiful slips right off these taters, and we'll get them over there and get them in the pots. And if it gets a little cold snap, I mean, this is March the 1st, and hopefully I don't get these caught in a cold snap, but if it does, I have 3 more jars of these in the house. I'm holding on to them just in case. So if these end up getting killed off from a little snap cold front, then we do have a backup plan, and I don't have to change out the soil. I'll just put the new slips in. So let me get these off of these taters, and we'll go over here and get them in the tubs. Okay, these slips don't come off any different than they do on a sweet potato. I take my jar of water and I take the slip. I carefully break it loose from the potato, and I try to separate the roots out till I get down to a single slip. So here's one, here's 2. That's one, okay. There we go, there's the first one. And that one's ready to go. This is what the yam looks like. I don't really expect them to get any bigger than that, because I don't think I'm gonna get these to grow any more than like 6 months or 7 months or so. I'm not gonna get 11 months here in Florida. So that's what they look like. If I can get these size yams, I think that'd be just right for Thanksgiving. So there's the first jar of them. Let's get these things over there in the pot. Okay, we're ready to get started here. My pots have soaked down. They're pretty good and moist. And I like to do that because, remember, these things are used to sitting in a jar of water, so you don't want these to dry out. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is only gonna put 4 of them slips in each of these tubs. So I'm gonna put it in just like I always do with everything. Nice deep hole, about the depth of my hand. See, from the tip of my middle finger to the back of my hand. That's about how deep I got that. Okay, then I'm gonna put in about 2 tablespoons of bone meal right in there with it to try to promote healthy root growth. So we'll put this slip right down in that hole, cover it in. Let's hope that guy, he is off and running. Let's put another one right here. A little bit of bone. Another beautiful slip. Well, these things really grow fast. we go. Mash them down kind of tight, see if you can't get that air mashed out of there. There we go. Here's our 2 tubs of the yams installed and off and running. I got them watered in. It's important that you keep these wet, especially the first 2 or 3 weeks. Don't let them dry out whatsoever. Make sure they stay wet. And after that, then you can go back to about once a week. And then after that, they're pretty much off and running, and they're kind of a low maintenance plant from what I've been reading up on. You can almost forget about them. So anyway, I'm going to continue my watering after these get established to at least every 10 days. I'll give it about 1 inch of water just to make sure it's okay. If it rains, then I'll just skip the watering and go another 10 days. But anyway, we'll be back in the days ahead, and we'll watch these as they continue to grow and they climb up this little trellis here. And if they start to climb over onto the fence behind me, then I'll cut them back. I don't want them climbing all over the fence because it's too hard to clean off. But anyway, we'll watch these all the way out until Nancy gets these in her kitchen, and let's see what she does with them. So we'll be back in the days ahead. See you soon. Well, welcome back, friends. It's been 20 days since we planted our yams out here in the containers. And since then, we've had a rogue cold front that came through about 8 days ago. Got down to 27 degrees one night. So me and Nancy came out here and we covered the yams and tried to protect them from the cold temperatures as much as we could. And we have suffered a little bit of damage on some of the plants. Some of the leaves are dying back, but it looks like they're trying to make a comeback. Today's very windy out here, which is typical this time of the year, and that kind of dries them out as well. So I'm going to get these things watered in and try to keep that soil good and moist, and maybe they can recover from, you know, the terrible temperatures and the high winds. But anyway, we'll keep our fingers crossed on this and keep tending to them and working with them. And maybe in a couple, 2 or 3 weeks, we should get past the worst of it. If we can make it through the next 2 or 3 weeks, I think we'll be fine. So we'll be back in a couple, 2 or 3 weeks. We'll take a look at where we're at and go from there. See you then. Well, welcome back, friends. You know, it's been 6 weeks since we planted our yam slips out here in the containers, and they look like they're doing pretty good. You know, last time I saw you, we only had these 2 containers, and I had some slips that I had held back and kept in the house because I wanted a backup plan in case I got some unseasonably cold weather. In which I did. We had a really bad cold snap come through, and you know, we had to protect the ones out here with some buckets and stuff to keep them okay, and they survived pretty good. And after I saw that they were off and running and the weather started to warm up a little bit, then I went ahead and I brought out the remaining slips, and I just started the remaining 2 containers that you see here. So now we have a total of 4 containers. These are a little bit further behind than these, but I don't think that's going to make any difference in the world, you know, after about 4 or 5 months from now. So we'll let them keep growing. We'll be back in the days ahead and continue to watch the progress of these yams all the way up until we dump these things out, because I'm looking forward to harvesting these and seeing what Nancy does with them. So we'll be back in the days ahead and check on the progress of our yams. See you then. Well, welcome back, friends. Our container grown yams are right now at the 3-month mark, and they're doing really pretty good. So I'm looking in the days ahead at letting these continue to grow. The vines are really getting vigorous now. They've been putting on the little flowers in the morning every now and then. I see some. I wish they'd put on more because they're pretty to look at. But I see that these plants are doing well, and in the days ahead, I think they're going to survive the summer with no problem at all with this high heat that's coming toward us. So we'll be back in the days ahead, and we'll take another periodic look at it and see how these things are growing all the way out to harvest. We'll see you soon. Well, welcome back, friends. It's been 3 months since the last time we gave you an update on our yams, and they're right now at the 6-month stage. If you look down the little container rack here, you can see these yam potato vines have grown all the way down past the other table here. So they're really long vines, and pretty much they could grow another 3 months with really no problem. But down here, Miss Nancy, she really didn't want any of the real big yams. She said she just wants some small ones. And I said, oh, well, they're probably about ready at the 6-month level at that size. So that's what we're going to do today, is we're just going to go ahead and harvest them, mainly because Nancy wants them small. She doesn't want them big. And the other reason is we're really entering into our rainy season here in Florida. This is early September now, and we're getting some really really heavy rains. We haven't had a hurricane or a tropical storm hit us so far this year, but we are definitely into hurricane season, so that could crop up at any minute. But in the meantime, every afternoon we're getting 2-3 inches of rain. I mean, this is I'm talking heavy rains. So I really don't want to leave them in the pots any longer, because I just don't want them to be that saturated and risk causing them to rot and ruin. So today we're just going to go ahead and cut the vines off. We're going to feed the vines to the chickens. They really love potato leaves. There's nothing wrong with your chickens eating potato leaves. They're not like white potato leaves. These are sweet potato leaves, so they're safe for the chickens, and they love that as a little treat. So we'll get the vines out of the way, get the chickens a little treat, then we'll dump out these 4 little buckets, and we'll get them over into the brooder, our chicken brooder, because it's nice, hot, and humid in there. And we'll cure these out for 3 weeks before Miss Nancy makes a little dish with them. So you about ready to get started? Okay, let's roll.
All right.
Well, we got the job done.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of yams.
It's a lot of yams, pretty good table full of them. Some of them were quite large. I guess it's a good thing we harvested it when we did.
Yeah.
So that was 6 months, and I mean they could go on out till, a couple of weeks before the first frost, which wouldn't even be until late November, early December. I mean, by then them things would have been ridiculously large. But
gigantic. So.
these are going to make a good meal.
Right, it is. And
So-
Bing Bing loves it, especially.
He ate a whole he ate a whole yam out there.
I know you love yams. Say, I love
You're a
yams.
tater boy, ain't you, Bing Bing?
Yeah, I'm a yam boy.
So anyway, we'll be back in about 3 weeks. We're gonna let these cure out here in the brooder. It's nice and hot and humid out here, and that's what sweet potatoes need, is high humidity and heat. And what we do is we put the blanket over them to capture in that heat and keep them nice and warm. And in about 3 weeks, they will sweeten. If you just eat them right now like they are, they'd just be too starchy. But in 3 weeks from now, they'll be nice and sweet, and I think Bing Bing will like them even better.
Yeah,
So
he likes
we'll-
them now, the way it is.
We'll be back in about 3 weeks, and Nancy will come out here and get some of this, and we'll do a little taste test together. So we'll see you in a couple weeks. Well, welcome back. It's been 3 weeks since we put our yams in here to cure them, and they are definitely ready to go today, right? And so we're gonna pick them up out of the brooder here and get them over into the to our pantry, into long-term storage. And over there, it's a much cooler environment. It's air conditioned over there. So we'll put these up in the tater tower, and they should last us all winter. All the way till next spring easily. So today we wanted to get them over there into long-term storage. We also wanted to cook some for lunch and do a little taste test.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the big day finally arrived. That was a long wait for them yams, but I can't wait to see how they taste.
I'm sure it's going to be great.
Yeah, they look good though. I mean, they grew to, you know, perfectly the way we wanted to. So I like the way they grow in the containers. It's much easier to harvest, and I think next year we might not have to grow 4 containers. I think 2 would have been plenty.
I think that, yeah.
But that gives us enough for the rest of this year and part of next year. They've been curing for 3 weeks, so I'm looking forward to seeing how sweet they are.
Sounds good.
So let's thank the Lord for this beautiful harvest of yams and dig in.
All right.
Gracious Lord, we give you thanks for these and all other blessings. Bless this food to the nourishment of our body and our body into your service. We humbly beg for Christ's sake. Amen.
Amen. And Bing Bing's praying too.
Yeah, I heard you down there. Here's your little piece.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what we got here. You want a big one or a little one?
I want a little one to start off with.
Yeah, me too. Oh yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, beautiful. Oh, look at that
Oh,
pretty
it's
color.
good color. Oh yeah, this came out really good. Oh, they're nice and soft. You did a good job on cooking.
It's easy. Now, let's cook it in the oven.
Nice looking corn, baby.
We harvested those from our garden. I love the corn.
Want some chicken?
Yes, thank you, please.
That's some good looking chicken. Okay.
Let's taste.
Let's see how she tastes.
Yeah, mine's perfect just by itself. Good.
Bravo. Man, those cured up nice.
Yeah, it's gonna make very good sweet candy yams. Oh yeah.
Well, that's what we were shooting for, was having something for candied yams for Thanksgiving. I think you can say mission accomplished.
Oh yeah, and we could just eat it plain like this for a lot of times too, so it's gonna last a year.
That's really delicious.
Don't need much of anything.
That is good. You know, I did when doing my research, that it was talking about the skin on these yams are supposed to be a lot tougher than sweet potatoes, but I don't find that to be the case here. These are very tender skins, and I can eat the skin and all with no problem.
And a lot of the nutrition is in the skin too, which is good.
There ain't nothing wrong with them skins. And delicious.
I love chicken. So good.
I love this hot sauce.
I know. It's so good for you.
Some things I don't care if they're good for me or not. It's just they taste good.